everyone. This is Ted Butler speaking to you live from the Metals Investors Forum in Toronto. I'm here on behalf of Jeff Clark's Paid Up Prospector, and I have with me today Graham Neale, who is the Director of Corporate and External Communications for Grande Portage Resources. Graham, great to be here.
Great, thanks for having me.
I want to dive straight into New Amalga, which is your flagship project in southeastern Alaska. To me, what initially jumps out is the extent of the historic work that's been completed on the project in terms of holes drilled, capital invested, and just generally the exploration hours that have been committed there. How actually can speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Grande Portage has acquired the project around 2008. It's their only, like you said, it's their flagship project. It's their only laser focused on advancing this. There's been about 200,000 feet of drilling so far in the project. About $22 million have been invested. It's it's a high grade resource. It's about 1.5 million ounces indicated, and another 500,000 inferred, for average over 9 grams per ton over the deposit.
Right. And in terms of the infrastructure as well, you've got some really great supporting sort of systems and established infrastructure around you.
Well, that's right. There is existing infrastructure, which is why the strategy for the company is to pursue a direct ship or DSO model.
Right.
We're roughly 4 miles from an existing state highway, and that highway extends for 13 miles out near the coast. There's another 3 or 4 miles that need to be developed, but that land parcel is owned by Gold Belt, which is the Juneau-based Alaska Native Corporation, and they're right now in engineering design plans to improve that road and build a facility on the coast. So for DSO, it just makes the most sense being that close to the existing infrastructure, pull it out of the ground and get it on the water.
Sure, and of course, the advantage to that process is that it's very low environmentally impact in that sense.
So we're looking at like you said, a really low footprint as far as your traditional mine. We're looking at roughly 15%
Exactly.
of your traditional mines that are out there.
And of course, that's because you're up in Alaska where nature is beautiful and the wildlife is abundant. Obviously, that means that you need to have a few more considerations when it comes to the environment and protecting it and respecting the setting that you're in. How are things progressing on that front?
Oh, great. I've been in Southeast Alaska for 20 years, and I can attest to how beautiful it is. I love to fish. I love to recreate. Kyle Mahalaki is our project development. He was the chief mining engineer at Ekla Greens Creek, which is an active mine that's been in production since the late 80s near Juneau. He had his family living there for 6 years. He's a recreator. So we understand, the importance of environmental protections. We've got so there'll be a lot of considerations when we advance mine planning for just respecting the recreational and the environmental multi-use mandate for the Tongass National Forest, where the project is situated. We've got a great relationship with the General District Ranger Office, and we've just been advancing this project responsibly.
For sure. And are there any kind of notable permits that you'll need to get moving forward?
Yeah, so for 2026, we're going to continue advanced exploration. We've got our permits in place to conduct our drilling. For our authorizations are in place. Sorry, they're not permits, they're authorizations with the Forest Service. For our 2026 drilling, about 4,000 meters, we're going to be drilling, install some environmental monitoring equipment, and also conducting some baseline studies.
Right. Okay, so that's all important stuff, but at the same time, the big selling point for me of this project is the high grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you give us a glimpse and some kind of, the highlights of the intercepts you've had so far?
I don't have specific drill holes in front of me, but like I said, it's about over 1.5 million ounces indicated, about 500,000 ounces inferred. Rough average is 9 grams per ton over the site of the deposit, but we have some intercepts that are well in advance of that, or intercepts that are close to 11 meters. So it's definitely, we got all the drill data on our website.
For sure. And I'm sure you'll be presenting about it later today as well. So definitely watch that too. Okay, so let's talk about the catalysts you've got coming up for 2026. You've obviously got drill results, which will unveil more of that high grade gold, but you've also got a PEA coming up.
We do.
What can shareholders expect from
that? We'll see when it comes out. Don't want to give away too much, but we're hoping to have it, make a big splash with this show and have it released this week. But also, we just want to make sure that it's buttoned up. It'll be coming out in the next week or so, but there's no reasons to believe that it's not going to have positive economics around it.
Absolutely. And it's going to give a great, numbers, especially great numbers with the current silver prices and gold prices that we got right now as well. It's above $5,000. I want to talk a bit about your role in the community there as well, because obviously you're based up there, and there's a lot of job creation that's going to be generated from the project. Maybe you can speak to that a bit.
Yeah, so Juneau it's a mining hub. They've been supporting, like I said earlier, about Greens Creek, and there's Kensington, which is a gold mine as well that started out production in 2010. Juneau is a very supportive community when it comes to mining activities. Me myself, I've been in Southeast Alaska since 2008. Like I said, I've got a lot of networking that I've done, and Juneau is a good place to try and build a mine, and this close to the infrastructure just makes this important.
Sure, sure. Okay, so the PA is going to come as well. What about the actual target of the drill program itself? Did you say it was 4,000 meters?
Yeah, we're there 4,000 meters. I think somewhere between 11 and 14 holes. It's some infill, but also some just resource definition too.
Right.
Once the PEA comes out, we want to start looking at, obviously, PFS will be the next step.
Okay.
We believe there's a mineable resource that sits there right now, so let's get a project definition.
So when are the drills going to start turning?
We are restricted by the Forest Surveyor authorization. I believe it's mid-June that I think it's June 16th that we will start drilling, and then we're usually good to go until late September. Just kind of depends on the weather.
Okay.
We have to shut down.
For sure. And also, you've obviously installed a lot of kind of long-term environmental monitoring infrastructure as well. So that's coming this season. Right. Exactly. Okay. Maybe you can talk a bit about your background as well.
Yeah. My background as a geographer, I started making maps. I had a love of maps when I graduated university, and that just kind of led to getting involved in the mining industry, and that led to some project management roles. Like I said, I was down on some other projects down in Southeast, running drill programs, and that just, naturally you get involved with community relations, and then you start getting involved with government relations, and just kind of led to this career that I just started developing in terms of external communications and making sure that the project is well represented, it's well understood in the public. And like I said, we've got a lot of support from the local communities and the local native organizations.
And what was it about Grande Portage that really captured your attention and made you want to come and work for it? The high grade?
I don't think it's the high grade, and I think it's the approach that they're taking. Grande Portage intentionally kept a low profile while they're, had some modest drill programs going in the mid 2010s.
Right.
And they kind of understand now with the PEA coming out, they need to be a little more public facing, and want to, approach the community and external parties in a responsible way. And I think just their approach to doing business was really appealing.
Yeah. And of course, Alaska is one of the pro-mining jurisdictions of the world at a time where jurisdictional risk is actually becoming a real priority for shareholders, right?
They got some great trade organizations too in Alaska, and they're highly supportive of. We got a governor that's obviously supportive right now of advancing, development,
right?
And combined with the federal administration, there's it's a good time to build a gold mine.
Absolutely. And maybe just finish with a bit of a background on the CEO. I believe it's Ian, right?
Yep.
Maybe you can tell us a bit about his experience.
Yeah, so I joined the company. I joined Grande Portage about a year ago. I've known Ian for about 5 years. Like I said, we've been having a lot of talks, and I know when's the best place to bring me on board when they start to do some more public facing activities.
Correct.
He's a good guy. He's very charismatic, but he's also he runs an efficient company, a streamlined ship, so to speak. And just he's a joy to work with, and I think he definitely wants to understand that this project needs to be built in the right way.
Sure. Okay. So 1 minute left. Let's talk about maybe the things that you'd want shareholders and potential investors to take away from the next few months.
Our key points is, it's a high grade gold resource. It's really close to surface too, which is important because there's nothing tricky about the mining project definition that we would be looking at. It's just your traditional, relatively shallow ramp down to the resource, your traditional, high grade, low environmental impact, direct ship your DSO model, get it out of the ground, get it on the water, to some outside process.
And are these gold prices? What a time to be alive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Graham, and best of luck for 2026.
Appreciate it.